friends, it's me again, your children's pastor, Jackie Monastra. I've been having so much fun going through this series, A Thrill of Hope, with you, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me yet again. Christmas is almost here. It's literally a week away. Can you believe it? Who is excited? I'm excited. Let's get a 10-second dance party going here. Okay, but for reals, it's happening. Christmas is this week and I am so excited. This is my favorite time of year, and one of the best things about Christmas is what we celebrate at this time of year. Jesus, all the hope he brings us and still brings us in this crazy wild world. But let's be honest for a minute. Another really good part of Christmas is the presents. And I have just the present to help us remember the story of God's great love for us. Are you ready? Here it is, here it is, here it is. It's so big. Are you ready? This is the story of Christmas, and it starts long before Jesus was here on earth. Are you ready to take a look? Let's open this box. The world. In the beginning, it was all God, it was all good. In the beginning, God created the world and everything in it. The world was perfect. Adam and Eve, the first people, walked in the most beautiful garden with God. They walked with him and talked with him, and things were so perfect. But then it all broke. Sin entered the world and the world became dark. God had given Adam and Eve one rule: to not eat from the tree in the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve, they broke that rule. They did what they weren't supposed to do, and that's how sin entered the world. The consequences of sin meant that everything broke. I mean, look at this present, it's already ripped up. The biggest consequence is that our relationship with God was broken. People were created to be with God, but God is perfect, holy. He can't be around sin. And because of that, people couldn't be with God anymore. Adam and Eve, they had to leave the garden. Things were really hard for them. They had to grow their own food, they had to work really hard, and everything was broken. The world, it needed a light. So let's open this. There were kings, and there were kings, and there were kings, and lots of good people who loved God, but none of them could light up the darkness. For a really long time, the people, they'd worship God and obey him, and then they would turn away from God and worship idols. God's people had some really good times, but mostly they had really hard times. God still loved his people very much, and he would talk to them through prophets, and he took care of them, and he rescued them from all their enemies. But things weren't the way they were created to be. The people were still separated from God. They needed to be rescued from their sin. God promised that he would rescue his people from their sin, but the whole world was waiting. Until Emmanuel came in a way that no one expected. The servant king. Emmanuel means God with us. It's a name for Jesus. Jesus came to earth to be with all people, not just important or rich or famous people. He humbled himself to be like us. He was born in a way that no one expected. I mean, who would have thought that the king of the whole world would be born in a stable, a place where animals lived and ate and pooped? Who would have thought that it would be in such a strange way? Who would have thought that the king of the world would have grown up and walked the earth to spend time with people? who were mean and liars and cheaters and stealers, and that he would give up his life for those same people. This king, Jesus, the servant king, the hope for all people, came to earth in the strangest way. And Jesus, he came for a very specific reason. He came to be with you. God with us means that God is with you. You are known and loved and cared for. You are the reason that Jesus was born. Jesus walked the earth thousands of years ago and died on the cross. But it wasn't just for this idea that all people would sin. It was for you. We have hope at all times because Jesus is God with us. He's God with you. We have hope now and for the future because God is with us. His promises are true. He came to be God with us and is still with us. So, when you see a present this year, remember that Jesus is the very best gift of all. His life was for you and for me, and it was for all people. Jesus is the light in the darkness, hope for all people, and that if you choose to trust and follow him, God is with you always and forever. That is the reason that we decorate and sing and celebrate. That's the reason we have hope. And that's the reason that we have another 10-second dance party.